John, are you ready? Nate, are you ready? Band, are you ready? Audience, are you ready? All right, John. In every life, some rain must fall, and you'll get wet as your sorrow calls. But the sun will rise on a brand new morn. You'll be warm and dry and freshly born.
With support from Judith Robert and in the memory of our good friend Tom Kabazinskis, and with additional support from Marshall County Community Foundation and the Indiana Arts Commission, Gibson Insurance, and E. Lee Marshall. From historic downtown Plymouth, Indiana, where the Lincoln Highway and Michigan Road cross the banks of the beautiful Yellow River, it's the Wild Rose Moon Radio Hour! Tonight's show is a celebration of Adam's Ale, as the colonialists were fond of referring to water of hydrogen and oxygen that helps make our cells tick, our blood flow, and our minds stream. We can watch water flow inside of every living thing, and we can feel it hold us as we swim, canoe, sailboard, and surf. When snorkeling in and underwater, we are held and indeed surrounded by its sensuous presence. As a school of ghost fish pass forward and back around us, we can perceive our own shape, our own body's watery form. Fueled by the pulse of water, we see the branches of a tree reach skyward, its roots diving into the ground. At the pond's edge, we come across the lily, resting on the water. The pond's edge, we come across the lily, resting on the water. The darkening light filtering through as voices rise, the red-winged blackbird, the frog, the cricket, all blending and fusing together in a musical celebration of a watery home. We are reminded how the flow of the music itself is an extension of the waters moving in and around us, and how music often serves to unite us by surrounding us in a community of love and reassurance. And speaking of such community, we have with us tonight the marvelous harmonic modelings of Liz Simmons, Flynn Cohen, and Lissa Schneckenberger. Let's give it up for the Vermont-based folk roots band, Low Lily. And in honor of pond music, we'll have a brief visit from our avian and reptilian past with the aid of Wild Rose Moon's own Wayback Machine. Plus, we'll be featuring 2 lucky members of our studio audience on our show, Shoot the Moon. And now, recorded live from the Wild Rose Moon Performing Arts Center in historic downtown Plymouth, Indiana, where the Art Deco Reese Theater is soon to enjoy its second lifetime of excitement and inspiration for the benefit of the local and regional community, here is the radical rascal of all things lunar, or lunatic, your radio hour host, George Schricker!
The river goes round, around the bend. The river goes round, round, round till the very end. And when it stops, oh, it starts again. It won't be long till the river goes round. It won't be long till the river goes round and round and round, my friends. Hey, Jacob Marino, what a nice little talk on water.
Absolutely, George.
Yeah, it's lovely, lovely. Water, we owe so much to it, really.
Of course.
And how have you been? Have you been in the water lately?
I've been pretty good, yeah. I recently went to Gatlinburg, Tennessee.
Oh.
Yeah, we had a nice fancy hotel and beautiful pool. It was awesome.
Beautiful. So you got in the water.
Oh, yeah, big time.
Yeah, that's good, good. and how about our good and wonderful musical producer, John Baylor? Have you been in the water recently?
Been in the water? Yeah. I was at Brown County State Park just over a week ago, and I got 2 little kids, so we had to spend a lot of time in the big water park down there.
Oh, how great that is. Well, that's good. Well, we have Low Lily, which I presume Is the floating water lily are we talking about? Are we talking about the kind of lily that grows up, or what kind of lily are we talking about? Who can tell me that? Liz, or maybe Lissa? Can you tell me?
Absolutely, yeah. The low lily is another name for the trout lily, which grows in New England in the woods. It's a woodland flower.
It grows where?
Grows in New England.
In New England, okay.
In the woods. It's a woodland wildflower, an edible.
Oh, wonderful.
Although we are not edible.
Oh. Yeah,
Just want to make that
thought
clear.
maybe you had chocolate figurines. I didn't know.
That's a good idea, actually.
Yeah. Hey, Liz Simmons, it's so great to see you in town.
Thank you. It's great to be
I
here.
saw you earlier. We did Liz and I did a little bit of talk on Zoom. In fact, that's up on our Facebook page, and you can see that. And we're talking about her background, and she was talking about some really marvelous things. But you have a marvelous musical background, too. You went to Goddard College?
I did, yeah.
Tell me a little bit about that. That's a college that I consider going to.
Yeah, so Goddard is known as a real hippie school, but
That must have been why I decided to.
but I actually chose to go there because I had in mind what I wanted to study, and it was I was very self-directed, and so I was at the time really obsessed with Irish traditional music. But then I ended up kind of veering off course for my final thesis, which was on the American music of the 1920s and 30s.
Talk about that a little bit. Talk about your favorites.
Yeah, so I focused on, like Billie Holiday and people like that who I felt like sang about the real social issues of the time.
Yeah.
And how they sort of reflected back to the people what was going on at the time. And it was also interesting to juxtapose the 20s, a real boom, a real economical kind of spending time, with the 30s, which was just the Depression, and how the music responded to those decades. Very interesting ways.
And what kind of interesting ways?
Well, the song that I ended up singing during when I presented my thesis, because it's an artsy school, so I could do stuff like that, was "Nobody Knows You When You're Down and Out."
Oh, that's a
which
great,
is a great song and a great, kind of, I don't know. To me, it spoke to the Great Depression and just financial hardship in general.
Yeah, it's Stephen Foster's Hard Times, if you're familiar with that.
Yeah.
And those songs have so much to do, in my mind, with expressing the spirit of empathy.
Mm-hmm.
They really, it's almost like they're reaching out and saying, hey, they want the songs to rub off on us, That's how I feel about them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
sure.
so they're really strong. Anyway, okay, gosh, there's too many of you to talk to. It's not fair. It's not fair. So, Lissa, tell me about your life growing up in Maine.
Oh boy. Yes, I grew up in Maine, and I was lucky enough to find a fiddle teacher at a very young age, and was very influenced by the fiddle and dance and folk music community in Maine, which is still booming to this day, and is a really exciting place culturally. A lot of people are surprised to find that out, because you think of a rural place like that being out of the way and everyone being far away from each other, but we really, up in Maine, they really like to get together in the winter months and have big jamborees and play tunes together and go to festivals and all kinds of fun stuff. So that was a big influence on me growing up.
Yeah, big sense of community. And then you went to the New England Conservatory of Music?
I did, yeah. I went to NEC, and although I didn't study classical music, I was in the contemporary improvisation department, which is a small subset of the jazz studies program.
Oh.
And that is where a lot of the weird musicians go.
Oh, yeah.
That's where, you might find people that are studying various traditional musics from around the world, and different types of improvisation, and mixing different types of composition in really interesting ways. And so that was a really good place for me, as it turns out.
Well, we have a wonderful graduate here from Berklee School of Music,
Yeah,
Matt Scutchfield.
we were talking
And he
before
has
the show.
very much the same some of that same orientation, wouldn't you say, Matt? Yeah, it's very strong anyway. Anyway, and then, so I've talked way too much to you because everybody out there in Radio Land wants to hear one of your songs. And so I've got to make a segue, and I don't know how to do it, so I'm going to let you do it for me.
Oh, that's perfect, because the first song we're going to play is actually about where Liz is from in New Hampshire.
That's right. This is a song I wrote with one of my oldest friends who I've known since I was 7. This is called Wherever We're Bound, and it's about growing up in rural New Hampshire and then leaving home and all the different people we meet along the way. 3, 4. A lesson learned along the way. A child with a sparkle in his eye. So what if I don't stay? Don't let your love pass you by. Out from that hill, the world seemed wide, enough for all that we held inside. We thought we'd follow the same way down, but we must go wherever we're bound. Forever is sometimes not for long. Steel winds stole you away. My friend, I still can't believe you're gone. The marks you left in the clay. Out from that hill, the world seemed wide, enough for all that we held inside. We thought we'd follow the same way down, but we must go wherever we're bound. The lines we can't erase. I see your face in mine. Our history together, it was formed the moment I was born. We don't always get to choose who we walk beside, and we don't always know how long they'll stay or when they'll go. Out from that hill, the world seemed wide, enough for all that we held inside. We thought we'd follow the same way down, but we must go wherever we're bound. Below the trees, below the skies, within the shifting ocean tides. Some loves are lost and others are found, but we will go wherever we're bound.
Thank you.
Well, that's just marvelous. That was some mighty fine playing, little Lily, I'll tell you. Lovely guitar work, too. I was listening to that sweet guitar, and, I think I think, sorry, I thought there was a sound little issue here. I think, Flynn, that it would be nice if you would tell us a little bit about this experience with John Renbourn.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah, because when I read that, I thought, this is one interesting dude. And I didn't even know you could go over and study with John Renbourn. Not that it would have occurred to me at the time, but that's a really interesting idea.
Yeah, well, you don't know unless you ask, I suppose. Actually, it wasn't even a matter of that. I had met him at a concert I went over when I went to regular college for a couple of years in New England, and I wasn't really willing to commit to being a music major yet. I've been playing guitar since I was a kid, but I was kind of intimidated, I suppose. And then I was over in England for the summer for a few weeks, and it turns out that John and Bert Jansch and Jackie McShee were playing a concert in Camden Town at this place called the Cecil Sharp House. If you ever go to London, go check it out. Anyway, I got to see them, and I showed up early, and like right after they finished their sound check, and so I just introduced myself to John, and it was basically a total sycophant, for lack of a better word. And
I've done that. I know what that's like.
And so I met him there, and then later that week I was up at a music festival up in Oxfordshire, and I was just at this concert, like hanging out, and this woman who was working at the Arts Center sat down with me and just started talking, and I told her, she asked me, like what I was up to after she realized I was visiting from America. And I told her about how I just seen John Renbourn perform, and she said, "Oh, well, one of my friends at my college in Devon takes guitar lessons with John." And I was like, "What? You can just basically what you just said. You can take guitar lessons with John Renbourn?" This was like 1991, I think. And so there was this special period where he had gone back to music school in his early 40s and gotten a composition degree down in Devon, where he had moved with his second wife and had a second family down there and went back to college. And then a few years later, they hired him to be like the sort of adjunct steel string guitar teacher. So he had like occasional students, basically. And so this woman's friend was taking lessons with him. Sorry for the long story. I don't know how else to tell you, but that's how it happened. And so, but then I was like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. So I just wrote a letter to the college, and they sent me what they call a course catalog, a prospectus over there. So just everything about the whole experience was just kind of like new and different and interesting to me. It was a wicked artsy college, performing arts college called Dartington, which doesn't exist anymore, unfortunately. But yeah, and it took me about a year to sort of commit to dropping out of regular college and deciding to be a musician for the rest of my life. So that was how it happened.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Let's give him a hand. Great story. Great story.
Feel free to edit that,
Yeah. Now feel free to introduce your next song.
Actually, that's perfect because Flynn wrote this next tune, and Flynn boasts the most composition degrees of all three of us in the band.
It's true.
He's got 2 more than either Liz or I, and so he's a real professional when it comes to writing the material.
Oh. Sorry, I couldn't think of the witty thing to say. Okay, anyway, yeah, so we're going to play this. It's a fiddle tune that I wrote called The Good Part, and for those people who are musos, which is the term they use in England for people who are nerdy about music, you may find that it sort of sounds like a regular fiddle tune, but it also has basically a funny harmonic rhythm. That's the technical term for what's going on. So if you get confused, you can tap your foot to the beat, and it'll still be there, promise.
If we do our job. Let's hope for the best.
That was surreal. That was so fine, so fine. Very, very lovely. We're going to take a little brief break, and we're going to have a visitor surprise guest coming straight from the ancient Jurassic period to visit us. And so
that doesn't happen at any of our other shows.
well, you've never met anyone as old as me.
I guess that's why.
Okay. So, take it.
With support from Judith Robert, and in memory of our dear friend Tom Kapazinskis, and from the generosity of the Marshall County Community Foundation and the Indiana Arts Commission, Gibson Insurance, and E. Lee Marshall, you're listening to the Wild Rose Moon Radio Hour.
Oh, let me introduce myself. I'm a paleontological star. And if you want to study me, I know you will go far. My wings are so luxurious, my beak's a lovely thing, and the tiny teeth inside my mouth love to open up and sing. I'm an Archaeopteryx with such a special name. You know I've gathered fame. I'm an Archaeopteryx. I dine on insect quiche. I'm the envy of the nouveau riche. I'm the talk of the Jurassic. They all come to ogle me, and theropods forget to eat just to watch me climb a tree. They're all jealous of my feathers. When I dine, they make a stink. For when it comes to birds and reptiles, they know I'm the missing link. I think I'm an Archaeopteryx with such a special name. You know I've gathered fame. I'm an Archaeopteryx. I find it quite absurd. They called me an ancient bird. I'm an Archaeopteryx. I dine on insect quiche. I'm the envy of the nouveau riche. Oh, I'm a riddle to be answered, and the answer's locked in stone. Scientists will fret for hours regarding my wishbone. If you want to study me, you'll need advanced degrees. I suggest a dissertation on the way I sip my tea. I'm an Archaeopteryx with such a special name. You know I've gathered fame. I'm an Archaeopteryx. Oh, when Darwin saw my fossil, his theory turned colossal. I'm an Archaeopteryx. I dine on insect quiche. I'm the envy of the nouveau riche. I told you I was old. Okay, John. Oh no.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls from our hometown to yours, the Wild Rose Moon Radio Hour presents our very own audience participation quiz show, Shoot the Moon!
It don't matter to me how smart you are. Maybe you're a big buffoon. You don't need to be quick on the draw. All you gotta do is shoot the moon. Shoot the moon. Shoot the moon.
Here's the host of Shoot the Moon, the original colonist of little-used words and an often chuffy, twistical, and gut-foundered fellow of ribald jollification, George Schricker.
Thank you, thank you, Jacob, for that lovely and circumbendibus introduction. While I call up today's contestants, would you mind reading the rules of this woefully contrived and mentally challenging extravaganza?
Savvy that, you fishy rutabaga. I'll continue to macaroni it up. Prior to the show, audience members indicate their willingness to participate in Shoot the Moon by supplying an answer to the question, are you now, or have you ever been a student of abnormal psychology? And, with that answered in any way they so choose, are you ready, willing, and able to gently access that remarkable abnormal being in an often silly and self-deprecating manner in the futile attempt to answer a series of innocuous questions? And, from a collection of audience members gullible enough to answer in the affirmative, exactly 2 contestants are selected to play Shoot the Moon. So, now, let's play Shoot the Moon!
That is long-winded. Okay. We have John Lee here today.
Hello.
Okay, and you're coming all the way up from Indianapolis
All the
to
way.
join us, and that's great. And great you're on the game show. And Forrest Reed, and you're coming from Sacramento,
How about
California.
that, George? Yeah.
Okay.
Do I get a prize?
I think you get a T-shirt for
Okay,
that. I'm not
the
sure.
moon T-shirt was wonderful.
Okay,
Thank you.
so we have a little game we like to play called Shoot the Moon here, and it's tied biographically to our guests here today, Lissa Schneckenberger and Liz Simmons and Flynn Cohen. And I was wondering if you would mind choosing one of these categories: Litchfield on Spuds, Shake It, Shake It, Shake It, Brattleboro Ballyhoo, or Catch a Can Makes the Mark.
Well, I would definitely go with Shake, Jerry Lee Lewis's.
Okay, Shake It, Shake It, Shake It. Has nothing to do with that, but that's okay. All right. Okay, but that's good. That's good. That's, you're already using your trivia mind. Okay.
It's natural.
Shaker Heights is a city in Cuyahoga County, Ohio. As of the 2020 census, the city population was about 30,000. Shaker Heights is an inner ring streetcar suburb of Cleveland, abutting the eastern edge of the city's limits. Have you ever been there?
No, I've been to Mentor.
Oh,
It's close by.
okay. Shaker Heights was a planned community developed by Van Swearingen brothers, railroad moguls who envisioned the community as a suburban retreat from the industrial inner city of Cleveland. Numerous accomplished musicians have come from Shaker Heights, in addition to Flynn Cohen, not the least of which was Albert Ayler. He was an American avant-garde jazz saxophonist, singer, and composer, and he began recording music during the free jazz era of the 1960s. His trio and quartet records of 1964, such as Spiritual Unity and Hilversum Session, show him advancing the improvisational notions of John Coltrane and Ornette Coleman into abstract realms where whole timbre, not just harmony and melody, is the music's backbone. Ayler was known to experiment with microtonality in his inventive improvisations. Which of the following is microtonality? A, seeking to explore the sounds that fall between the notes of a traditional scale. B, playing exclusively using short bursts of notes. Or C, playing notes that are so small they are inaudible to the human ear.
Small. I would have to go with C, George. Micro.
C. Well, I'm sorry that. Can anybody tell us what microtonality is?
Yeah, it's A. Yeah, that was a good definition.
Kind of the boring
The
one.
notes in
Okay.
between the notes.
Well, where were
Yeah.
you when I needed you, Flynn?
Yeah,
I was right over there.
that's right. You're allowed to help them. I can't see you.
See?
Okay,
And
I
little,
can't.
little did I know.
My back is to you. Okay. Oh, I forgot to give that little instruction. Okay. So, what would you like here, John?
Well, let's start from the top. Litchfield on Spuds.
Litchfield on Spuds.
And can I ask the band for the answer?
No, but they might give you little hints. Okay.
That would be
Or they
helpful.
might not have any idea. Okay. Litchfield is a town in Kennebec County, Maine. Is that correct? Kennebec. Oh, Kennebec. Oh, you're right. I just didn't see the C. Okay. With a population of about 4,000, something like that, 3,000, 4,000.
I don't know. They're all in the woods and hiding. I'm not sure.
Okay. Did you know it was incorporated in 1795 and was originally known as the Smithfield Plantation? I knew that too. Wow. Well, in addition to the well-known musician and fiddler Lissa Schneckenberger of the band Low Lily, the town is well known for sprouting an American journalist, vegan columnist, and community organizer Avery Yale Camilla. Growing up on an organic farm in Litchfield, she adopted a vegan diet after reading what inspiring book in 1991? Was it
Diet for a New America by John Robbins. B, The 90s Vegetarian by Ursula Faringo. Or C, The Sexual Politics of Meat by Carol J. Adams.
Can I get some help here from the native from that part of our country?
I'm sorry, I don't know the answer, and I have a lot more questions.
Me too, especially about the sexual politics of meat. Anyway,
Just
let's see.
take a guess.
I will. A.
A is correct.
You lucky dog.
Yeah. Anyway, well, very good. Well, let's go back here and see what we can do with Forrest. Forrest, we've got a couple left.
Let's go with Brattleboro.
Ballyhoo, right. This is a good one. That's a very good one. And hopefully they'll give you signs. Okay. Brattleboro, Vermont, the home of Low Lily, is known as a small-town arts mecca. It was listed in John Villani's book, The 100 Best Small Art Towns in America, in which it was ranked number 9 among art towns with a population of 30,000 or less. Brattleboro has thriving art galleries, restaurants, coffee shops, the Brattleboro Music Center, the Vermont Theater Company, the New England Youth Theater, the Brattleboro Women's Chorus, the New England Center for Circus Arts, the Vermont Performance Lab, and the Vermont Jazz Center. Whew. With all this culture in place, it might seem odd that they also host what other unusual event? Is it A, the annual chicken hopping contest, where chickens are encouraged to hop through an obstacle course of pumpkins and gourds by their owners, using a process known as corn wagging, in which ears of... I can't even read it. In which ears of corn are wagged on a wheeled stick.
You got to be there.
Okay, or was it B, the strolling of the Heifers Parade, in which owners of their prize cows are encouraged to adorn them with flowers and parade them down Main Street? These parades are often accompanied by people in costumes known as dairy fairies. Okay, and C, the Festival of Pickled Socks, in which each contestant places a pair of socks worn for 2 months straight into a large glass jar. Each jar is labeled with the owner's name and kept in the Buchwald hardware store window for 1 year. During the festival judges open each jar personally to test the odor. The jar with the rankest smell wins the contest and the owner of the socks. They receive $500. At the end of the festival, an American folk roots band that shall not be named plays while the socks are lit afire and encircled by whirling dancers in their socks. In essence, having a sock hop. So which one is it, A, B, or C?
Well, when we were in Switzerland, I've actually seen a parade of cows, but I'm going to go with chickens, A.
And is it chickens?
It is not.
What is it?
It was the strolling of the heifers.
Oh.
Although I have to say, I'm now that I've heard the other options, I'm planning to start some new events as soon as we get home.
Okay, John, here we go. What's the score, by the way, Jacob? Because I'm not.
Are we actually keeping score?
Well, not for any good reason.
Well, George, so far we have John with 1 point and Forrest with 0 points.
Oh, so we went in the wrong direction. Oh, well, anyway, the last question is Ketchikan makes its mark. Okay?
Okay.
Is there someone here who has roots in Ketchikan?
That would be me.
And you were telling me a story about Ketchikan, if I remember correctly, about you walking with a boy home from school in the rain. It rains a lot in Ketchikan.
It rains a lot. So Ketchikan is in Alaska. It's an island, a city on an island in southern Alaska.
Yes.
And it rains a lot. It doesn't really snow. And I was there from when I was 6 and 7, ages 6 and 7. And and I spent time with this boy who went to school with me. We used to walk to the local public school together, and he had kind of a rough home life. And so he would always come early to our house, and we would feed him, and he would play with our toys, and we would just make his life a little bit better. And I always felt like that was the first time I really understood empathy.
And giving.
Yeah.
And how that's like it somehow comes back to us, it comes
exactly.
back. Yeah. And it has. It's come back to you. Okay, Ketchikan makes its mark. Ketchikan is a city in the borough seat of Ketchikan Gateway Borough of Alaska. It is the state's southeasternmost major settlement. It is the 5th most populous city in the state of Alaska with about 14,000 residents. Ketchikan is named after Ketchikan Creek, which flows through the town, emptying into the Tongass Narrows, a short distance southeast of the downtown. Besides sprouting the talented Liz Simmons of the musical group Low Lily, Ketchikan has the world's largest collection of standing totem poles, found throughout the city and at 4 major locations. The Totem Heritage Center displays preserved 19th century poles rescued from abandoned village sites near Ketchikan. The Chief Cayenne pole in Whale Park in the city center is one of the featured background images that appear on what important legal U.S. government document? Is it the featured watermark on Alaskan government contracts with the United States? Does it appear in the background of most U.S. passports? Or C, does it appear on every Alaskan's driver's license?
Could I choose D, all of the above?
That's not the answer.
Well, let's say go with A. That sounded good from the beginning.
Watermark on Alaskan
Yes.
government contracts. Does anybody know the answer to this list? It's on all our passports.
Wow.
How about that? Or at least a lot of them. At the time this was written. Anyway. Okay, what's our score now?
Well, George, we have John with 11 points, or 2 points.
Oh,
sorry.
11?
I'm using tally marks, my bad.
You and Jacob are friends, obviously.
And we have Forrest with 0.
Okay, and who wins then?
Well, George, as a matter of fact, win or lose, everyone gets lucky on Shoot the Moon. Both John and Forrest have won a sticker, a big Wild Rose Moon sticker, suitable for applying to one's motorcycle, dirigible, or cornhusker.
And we'll be back with a fantastic band, Low Lily. Take it away, John.
With support from Judith Robert and in memory of our dear friend Tom Kapazinskis, and from the generosity of the Marshall County Community Foundation, the Indiana Arts Commission, Gibson Insurance, E. Lee Marshall, you're listening to the Wild Rose Moon Radio Hour.
Welcome back to the Wild Rose Moon Radio Hour. Great to have you here, and we're having such a good time with Low Lily. Did you enjoy the biographical section of our quiz?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just learned a lot.
Oh, good. Well, me too. I enjoyed writing that. So, Lissa, Is this right? You learn from a wide variety of musicians, including the acclaimed Scottish fiddler Alistair Fraser.
That's true.
Tell me about that.
Alistair's great.
No. No, what was it like? I mean, you know, what did you do? Did you study with? Did you go in and?
Well, actually, Alistair Fraser is a musical personality who loves to teach and who has actually throughout his career has created great environments for music learning. So when I was a young kid, I think I was probably 8 when I got my family got one of his albums, and from that point on, we would just go see every single concert he did within driving distance of our home, and we'd go to any workshops he would put on, and then we went to a couple of fiddle contests that he was judging, and at one of those contests, he said, "Hey, you know, I have a whole fiddle camp in California. You can come and learn fiddle and, you know, all these different instruments in California for a whole week." And my family thought, that sounds really cool. So we went. And now at this point, this is many years later, he actually hosts many learning experiences in the form of music camps throughout the summer. So there's actually two different week-long camps in California. There's one on the Isle of Skye in Scotland. There's one in Spain, and there might be others that I'm forgetting about. But that's one of the things he really enjoys doing is fostering learning environments and community around the world.
That's a wonderful thing. Let's give him a nice hand. Tell us about the fiddle playing that you're going to be doing on this next song.
Yeah, what is this next song? Oh, yeah, actually, this next song is actually one that I'm going to sing. It's one that I wrote, and it's called The Girl's Not Mine. It's on our penultimate album.
Yes?
Is that right? Yep. It's our EP, the Low Lily EP. And this is a song that every once in a while I give myself little writing assignments. And one of the major things I do to get the creative juices flowing is I just copy something else that I really like. And there's lots of ways to do that. But this song in particular, in my head, is actually Jessie's Girl.
Okay.
It might not sound like Jessie's Girl to you, but... I thought, now there's a classic topic. That theme never gets old. People love that topic. I'm going to write one myself.
And Lissa, you also play and sing at the same time on this song.
That's right.
So you could talk about how you do that.
Yeah.
Boy, I don't know, actually. I got a little rusty during the pandemic. I got to practice it a little bit more. But yeah, it's true. I also occasionally do play fiddle and sing at the same time.
That's wonderful. I don't think I've ever seen it before, so I'm lucky. This will be a first.
Here we go. Yeah, everybody on the radio will also not see it, but...
Oh, but they'll...
It's fine. It's happening. Mm-hmm. Just a little. Actually, Low Lily is great because there's so many other people to pick up the slack that it makes it quite easy for me.
Well, go to it.
Okay. He saw her sitting in the shadows by the fire. He caught her eye and watched her as the flames rose higher. They took a walk into the night, the fire fading out of sight. Baby, lay down, baby, lay down, baby, lay down with me. He holds her in his arms, he holds her in his stare. He holds her hand and runs his fingers through her hair. He'll feel her breath soft on his cheek as she is drifting off to sleep. Baby, lay down, baby, lay down, baby, lay down with me. He sends a message saying, missing you today. He's always good to her and knows just what to say. Take the time to love her well. He's not like anybody else. Baby, lay down, baby, lay down, baby, lay down with me. think of them, I know that it is wrong. I shouldn't wonder where she is or for how long. I shouldn't want to feel her lips or wonder if her heart would skip. Baby, lay down, baby, lay down, baby, lay down with me. Oh, baby, lay down, baby, lay down, baby, lay down with me. The girl's not mine no more. She isn't mine.
That was lovely. Lovely, beautiful song. Liz Simmons, tell me about this work you did with Flynn in a group, Anna Olivia, is that it?
Yeah.
And where does that name come from?
So Anne Olivia is a statue in Ireland
Yes.
of the character. It's from a James Joyce novel,
Right?
and it's the Anne Olivia. She's the goddess of the water.
Right. And then how was that the two of you playing together? Or?
It was us, a couple of fiddlers and a bass player, and it was when we first got married. When we first got together, we said, let's start a band. We had all of these different musical interests, and we were trying to kind of find that commonality, that common ground musically. And so we loved fiddle music, we loved singing, and so Low Lily, the sound you hear, really grew out of Anne Olivia, our first project.
Talk about how that happens. You know, we were talking.
Yeah.
You know, Jacob was talking about the branches growing in a tree. So how did this branch come into flowing?
I think with Anne Olivia, we were focused a bit more on traditional music
Yes.
and doing some songwriting. But when we realized what we really wanted to do was do more original music,
Yes.
that we kind of wanted to create a new band and a new sound, and that's when we invited Lissa to be part of it, and we're really lucky she said yes.
Yeah, you are lucky. It's a great sound you've got. You know, you played with a lot of interesting people, or at least beside people, or Livingston Taylor, is that right?
Yeah, so I was in an all-girl band for about 3 or 4 years called Eva, based in New York City. And we toured around with Livingston Taylor and Tom Chapin as it was like a 3-act show.
Yeah.
And so we would open the show, and then we would singing backing harmonies with them as well.
Wow. Oh.
So we toured that show around for a while. It was really fun.
That must have been
Yeah.
fun. That must have been
Yeah.
really exciting. Well, can you give us another song?
Absolutely.
Okay.
We're going to do something a cappella now.
Oh, great.
And this is a song that Lissa Schneckenberger wrote called Hope Lingers On. My mother, when love is gone. My mother, when love is gone. In our darkest hour, hope lingers on. My father, when peace is gone. My father, when peace is gone. In our darkest hour, hope lingers on. I will not haste, and I will not fear. In our darkest hour, hope lingers here. My sister, when equality's gone. My sister, when equality's gone. In our darkest hour, hope lingers on. My brother, with tolerance gone. My brother, with tolerance gone. In our darkest hour, hope lingers on. I will not hate, and I will not fear. In our darkest hour,
is done. My country, when justice is gone, in our darkest hour, hope lingers on. I will not hate, and I will not fear in our darkest hour. Hope lingers here. I will not hate, and I will not fear in our darkest hour. Hope lingers here.
Thank you.
Would you please do a reprise? No, just a little bit of it, please.
You want us to sing it again?
I would like that, yeah.
Okay, we'll do 2 choruses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
The one
Like the last two?
with the clapping, and then we'll stop with the clapping.
okay.
Yeah.
Good rehearsal.
Yeah. That was us rehearsing. 1, 2, 3. Do that again.
That was so good.
All right. Good thing there's editing. 1, 2, 3.
I will not hate, and I will not fear in our darkest hour. Hope lingers here. I will not hate, and I will not fear in our darkest hour. Hope lingers here.
My heart is giving you a standing ovation. That's quite a beautiful song, gorgeous song. Well, Lo Lily, I hope you've enjoyed being on the radio show today.
It's been wonderful. Thank you for having us.
And we hope you'll come back sometime and join us here at Wild Rose Moon Radio Hour. And John, can you take us on home?
With support from Judith Robert and in the memory of our good friend Tom Kapazinskis, and with additional support from Marshall County Community Foundation and the First Source Bank, Gibson Insurance, and E. Lee Marshall. You've been listening to the Wild Rose Moon Radio Hour.
And thank you, Jacob Marino, John Baylor, our music producer, Matt Scutchfield, assistant producer. A shout out to Jerry Mitchell for his excellent work on the Roland Cajon. Thanks to Nate Butler for his live mixing and recording and editing of the radio show. Also, special thanks to our stage manager, Howard Gibbs, our photographer, Matthew Bergmoser, and our video and web producer, Jim Yoakum. Our sparkling hospitality team for today, Jennifer Reed, Pam Gunterman, and John Kubley. Also, a special thanks to Michelle Schricker for her applause skills, cleaning acumen, and her undying support of the moon, its mission, and me. And finally, a special shout out to Joe Gillard for supplying some mighty fine colonial slang terms. John, can you give us some jollification on that guitar and make it Simon Pure?
Everywhere I go, George, that's what people say I do. So when you think you've lost that life, all pain and heartache fill your soul with strife, just remember, as you're tumbling down, it won't be long till the river goes round.
Everybody!
The river goes round, around the bend.
The river goes round, round, round till the very end.
And when it stops,
Woo!
it starts again.
It won't be long.
Till the river goes round.
Everybody. The river goes round, around the bend. The river goes round, round, round till the very end. And when it stops, woo, it starts again. It won't be long till the river goes round. It won't be long till the river goes round and round and round, my friend.
Well, which our song?
No, their first song.
Oh,
We had that technical.
oh, that technical thing.